from it. Destiny arrives all the same. It is a worldwide competition that is being held around the world. We are live from more than 40 locations for day 2 of the 2020 Rogue Invitational. Pat Vellner, Jacob Heppner, and Noah Olson, your top 3 for the men, and the big names are getting set to throw up some big weight. Thank you so much for joining us today, everybody, for the final day of competition at the 2020 Rogue Invitational. I am Sean Woodland. Chase Ingram is here as well, and Margot Alvarez will be joining us in a little bit. Chase, let's get to day 2 here, and on the men's side, I mean, the usual suspects, they are basically at it again.
They are, and Pat Vellner looks fantastic in terms of how he's sitting on top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, Vellner's very impressive. He is on first place, but we'll go to the women's side of things where, look, things are not as close on the women's side, or they're closer on the women's side than they are on the men's side.
Yeah, but Pat's running away with it, but on the women's side, Tia-Clair Toomey is sitting on top of the leaderboard, but it's not as big of a cushion as she's had in most competitions as of late. And, you know, for her, she's actually looked really good from start to finish. Only one hiccup in the middle of competition was a 13th place finish in that last person standing format, but 2 first and a 2nd place. So Tia on top of the leaderboard, but not by as much as we've seen in the past. So she has a good day lined up for her, but there's a lot of strong women waiting in the wings.
Here is your women's leaderboard heading into day 2 of the competition. We mentioned this is closer than the men's side. There's only 25 points to separate Jamie Simmonds from Tia Toomey on top of the overall leaderboard, and Sarah Stigmansdottir still very much alive for that top spot on the podium. Cara Saunders, Laura Horvath, and Kristen Holta, they all have a chance, a very realistic chance of working their way into the top 3, so a lot still needs to be decided today. Chase, when you look at what's on tap here for day number 2, who do you think is poised to have a big day on the women's side of things?
On the women's side, I mean, Tia-Clair Toomey is doing good, but I like the way it's setting up for Cara Saunders. Now, she's at a little bit of a disadvantage. I mean, she's competing at from like midnight to 4 o'clock in the morning. But for Cara, I like the way the event's set up for her. You know, you got a strength event to start things off. That chipper is going to be good for her, and that classic event at the end. So I like how this is going to shake out for Cara Saunders. It's good to see her back. She had a good day, a little bit falter in the last event, but I like these events in day 2 for her.
We saw Pat Vellner warming up before we came in here. He is your overall leader, and Chase, he really could not have asked for a better day 1.
No, I mean, what more could you say about Pat Vellner's day number 1? He got a 2nd place, a 1st place, and a 1st place, and his worst event of the day was a 5th place finish. So what Pat did yesterday and the lead that he has now, I mean, this is one of the best starts to a weekend I've ever seen Pat do. And Pat is most known for having a good last day of competition. And if you're in the lead by that much, that's dangerous.
He has a 55-point cushion over Jacob Heppner right now, and Heppner leads Noah Olson by 20 points. And Chandler Smith, Adrian Moonweiler, and Bjorgvin Karl Gudmundsson, they all have a chance of working their way into the top 3. So, like the women's side, still a lot that needs to be decided here on day 2. So, same question that I asked you for the women. Who do you think has a big day here on day 2 for the men?
For these events specifically, I'm going to go to the captain, Chandler Smith, sitting in 4th place, 10 points out of a podium position. But when you think about a heavy lift, that guy can move some serious weight. And then he's a grunt work style athlete. So you have that long chipper. I think that plays into the hands of Chandler very well. And then that event, that last one, has some deadlifts in it. That is something that he may be the best in the sport at when it comes to this CrossFit style finisher.
Well, Chandler's going to get a chance, along with everybody else, to move some big weight here in event number 4. And this is a 2-part event like we saw yesterday with event 2. But the first part will not be a scored event. It's just a tiebreak. That's 7 clean and jerks, 4-time, 255 for the men, 165 for the women. They have a 1-minute time cap. Then they get a 5-minute reset. And that is when the clean and jerk liftoff begins. The men will start at 290. The women will start at 195 pounds. And then they add 10 pounds for the men every round, 5 pounds for the women. And all the athletes will be competing at the same time. And Josh Bridges said he knew he needed to get a way to have a tie break in this event, and he thought the first part was a good way to do it.
My idea was to do the tiebreaker with everyone together at the very beginning. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a tiebreaker with everyone right off the bat, so that if people do get caught at the same weight, there's a tiebreaker to go back to. And so what the tiebreaker is going to be is 7 clean and jerks at 255 for the guys and 165 for the girls. So that's what everyone is going to start off with that.
Well, if we're going to lift some big weights, we have to bring in the official weightlifting coach of the Rogue Invitational, and someone who always puts a smile on our face anytime we get to have him on the show. He is Coach B, Coach Bergener. Thank you so much for being here. How you doing today, my friend?
I am doing great. I am so fired up for this event. It's unbelievable. We're going to have some fun today.
It is going to be a blast, and we appreciate that you can be here with us as we get set for the start of event number 4. And we begin with that 7 clean and jerks for time. We'll get into the keys of the event here in just a second. But as I mentioned, all 18 athletes are going to be on the floor at the same time. So there's going to be a lot for you to watch, and that's why we brought in Coach B. So keep your eyes peeled, Coach, because we're going to need you to break a lot of this stuff down for us, because this is exactly what we're going to be looking at. And part 1 of event 4 is underway. 7 clean and jerks for time at 255 for the men.
Okay, I can't see anything, guys.
Well, we'll keep you posted as far as what's going on. But Pat Vellner, he is in the upper left-hand part of your screen. He's your leader. So they go in, it looks like the order in which they sit in the standings right now. So that's from left to right.
A big thing at the start of this, it is a tiebreaker, so there's no points on the line per se for this portion. However, that could determine your point standings as a tiebreaker at the end. And when I was looking at this initially, is for some of these athletes, this is a mere formality in terms of getting through this. So you don't want to get too sloppy on this and kind of set yourself up for some bad technique going into the second portion of this event.
So Jacob Hebner is in the upper left-hand part of your screen. He has yet to finish. So he will get time capped. Jonakoski did it the fastest unofficially. These are all unofficial times. As we mentioned yesterday, we have judges on site. They are keeping time. We have scoring here, but we have to get times confirmed with a judge on the floor before they are official. So right now, 27.50. Jonakoski is your leader unofficially.
Now for Hebner, we said that this event was going to be, at the very least for Hebner, damage control. And you can see look, it's just not a strong suit. Relative to the field that he's competing against, he's not one of the strongest men in the field. Now for Hebner, even in that first 7 touch and go, the way he looks right now after that for a tiebreaker, I honestly wouldn't have even gone that hard in terms of that tie-breaking portion, because if you're going to get a tiebreaker last, don't overexert yourself going into the part that you really need to be focusing on, which is that heavy lift coming up.
We get about a 4-minute rest here before we will start the clean and jerk liftoff, and the men will start at 290 pounds. And Coach B, I'll bring you in here, but when you watch someone, we don't have Coach B, so we're going to bring him back here in a second. We'll get him back when we can, but Pat Vellner loading his bar now to 290 pounds. So all the athletes are going to lift at the same time here, and they have that minute window in which to get that lift.
Yeah, and what this means for them against the rest of the field is nothing. They can't really see each other, and everybody knows that they're going to start with the same jumps, starting at 290 and going up 10 pounds every lift. But the big deal here is that the time in between the lifts is going to be very important for athletes to make sure they're staying focused on what they're supposed to be doing, thinking about the technique, not rushing things in, because that time in between is about a 3-minute break in between lifts. There's a lot of time to kind of get complacent, especially when you're by yourself.
Bjorgvin Gudmundsson warming up. He currently comes in 6th place overall with 280 points. He is 10 points back of Chandler Smith for that final spot on the podiums. Saxon Panchik loading his bar. He is 9th place overall right now, 235 total points. And Alexander Corona is a man you're going to want to keep an eye on here. He's a guy who can throw around some big weight.
I know Corona is definitely one of the athletes. If we're starting at 290, he can actually start by doing snatches if he wanted to. That's how strong this guy is. I think we were I saw him earlier this year in a competition, and in 4 minutes he snatched 300 pounds. Now, Hebner, look, the reason why we're talking about him so much is because, one, A, he's sitting in second place overall. B, this event is going to hurt him overall in top as far as the leaderboard. But the next 2 events, I think, are very good for him. He had a great day 1. You know, Hebner's taking some warm-up reps that we've seen a lot of these athletes do. That's 275. The first bar is 290. And the way that looked, not super comfortable. Also, let's keep in mind what these guys probably feel like coming into day number 2 after what they did yesterday.
Pat Vellner is just going to sit this one out until he actually has to lift. This is a good event for Pat Vellner, and he has a sizable lead on Jacob Hebner. So Pat has a chance to really put a stranglehold on the top spot on the overall leaderboard with this event.
He absolutely does, and the reason is he is actually one of the best in the field, not just here at the Rogue Invitational, in the entire games athlete field at the Clean and Jerk. This is a very good lift for Pat Vellner. I like starting day number 2 off with this because, you know, a lot of these athletes are feeling yesterday. I mean, you think about what event 2 did to a lot of these athletes. I can't imagine what Sam Briggs probably feels nothing. However,
just went into Skynet, got her back adjusted, and she's all good.
But starting this off, I think, is actually a good way to kind of knock the rust off from yesterday and then almost get them warm and set for the rest of the event. Plus, who doesn't like to watch people lift some big weights?
One-minute windows in which to lift, and they're going to add 10 pounds every attempt. 100 points to the winner of the event, 95 for second, 90 for third, and there's a 5-point gap as you work your way down the standings.
Now, within that minute, you could potentially miss your attempt, and as long as you get it within that minute, you have the ability to do so. So my eyes are top left, second screen over is Jacob Hebner to see how this lift may go.
So lift number 1 starts right now, 290 pounds. Oh. We're keeping an eye on Jacob Hebner in the upper left-hand part of your screen to see how this lift looks, and Hebner will hit that so he stays alive. As it looks like every athlete had little trouble with the opening lift.
I saw Chandler Smith clean and jerk it as if he was doing grace with 290 pounds.
Chandler Smith is a powerful athlete. Remember when we first came on the radar, I was in that regional event with the heavy deadlifts, where he was just ripping that barbell like it was empty. I think it was like 405. So Pat Vellner, he was successful at 290, reloading his bar. Let's take a look back at his opening lift.
And so I saw for Pat Vellner, he did something very similar to Chandler Smith did, was just that power position. And what that means is just catching it high. And I'm kind of on 2 sides of that for a lot of these athletes is, you know, if it really is truly light for you to do, you can kind of reset in that little power clean push jerk format. That'll save you some time and some energy. And I'm okay with that as long as you're comfortable going into that squat clean position later on.
All right, thanks, Chase. We're going to bring in Coach Bergner now. We have that figured out, so appreciate you guys hanging there with us. Coach B, you set to watch some guys lift some big weights here?
I am so fired up, except I gotta talk to Chase, though, a little bit. Chase, you don't catch a barbell, Chase.
Oh, you said the word.
No.
You receive it, Chase. You receive the barbell.
Listen,
I'm sorry, Coach. I tried to tell him.
I'm going to shut up for the next 20 minutes.
Oh, my God. I can't believe it.
I should have known better.
Yes, you received the barbell.
Better. You're still a good person, Chase.
See, this is what happens when you disappear. You got jokers like me trying to comment on a sport I don't really dive into.
We have about 2 minutes to go before the next round. But, Coach B, when you watch someone perform a clean and jerk, what are the things that immediately you're looking at to see whether or not that person is doing it correctly?
Well, first of all, I look at their feet, making sure that the feet stay flat-footed and balanced all the way through the movement of the pull. That way I can get more drive against the ground, and I can keep that barbell closer to my body by allowing the hips to go vertical. I have a saying that, the hips go up, the bar goes up. If the hips go out, if I have to pull the bar into my hips and then bang it off, the hips go out. And if the hips go out, the bar goes out, then it's not as efficient. That's one reason I don't particularly like the power jerk, because there's so much margin for error on that dip and drive that if that bar gets out of the groove at all, then it makes it a less efficient lift.
Less than a minute to go before we begin round 2, and that will be at 300 pounds. Every athlete's still alive here. Again, we're going to be keeping a close eye on Jacob Hepner, who knew that this would be a bad event for him. He came into this event in second place overall with 320 points, just 20 points up on Noah Olson and just 30 points up on fourth place Chandler Smith. So Olson and Smith could very easily find themselves in the top 3 after this event. Coach B, who are you going to be watching here?
Oh, I heard you say that the Koski snatched 400 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, Caron.
Yeah, Alexander Caron.
I mean, Caron, if that guy's snatching 400 pounds, my God, this is going to be a contest. But we'll watch the legs. I mean, right now the big thing's going to be the leg strength after all the other stuff that they've done. They're going to be able to get under the bar, but getting up out of that clean is going to be a challenge. And then, of course, you got to jerk the weight as well. So I'm looking at the leg strength of all these guys, but this is going to be fun. I think everybody's going to enjoy this.
Jacob Hepner hits his lift, so he is still alive as we move up to 300 pounds, and we'll get a 3-minute reset before we get to that lift. So what did anything stand out to you when we watched those 18 athletes lift, Coach?
You know what? I hate to say this, but I can't see it.
All right. Well, we'll just try to fill you in when we get a tighter shot of somebody. But everybody was successful. Let's take a look again at Pat Vellner. If you can break that down for us, Coach. If you can see it. If not, I will rely on Chase. And Chase, don't say catch the barbell.
Oh,
receive.
Okay, I'm really trying to get this thing going. I want to see these guys badly.
All right, let's go to if we have Pat Vellner's lift here. This is at 300 pounds.
And now for Pat Vellner. Coach, I actually had this question for you because what we've seen is a couple different techniques between the power receiving position and then that squat receiving position. I think a lot of athletes try to...
No, I can't.
So I'll say a lot of athletes try to power
I can see little.
So for your advice to these athletes, some of them are trying to power early because it's a little bit lighter where others are catching it in that full receiving position. Would you want them to have more consistency from rep to rep, or would you kind of allow them to do that lighter weights in that power position for them?
I think it's an individual's goal to do that. For me, I think that I can be more recovered by doing a full clean and a jerk, even when the weight's light, because I want to get my timing down. Mm-hmm. If you're very efficient in the clean and jerk, then a clean is nothing more than a missed power clean. But most guys will have a tendency to try to pull the bar up too much on a power clean, and that'll in the end fatigue them when they do receive the full clean. So I want to keep my timing going, maybe a real light warm up with the power clean. But then when I start out with that 290 or 300 that they're hitting, for me personally, I would go into a full clean and jerk.
Chandler Smith taking a break. He was successful as well at 300 pounds. Let's take a look back at his lift that he just hit.
Yeah, that's pretty ugly. I mean, this guy is so strong.
So
it's
strong.
Unbelievable. But he does a reverse curl. So for me, he's really utilizing a lot of upper body strength and pulling that bar up, which will come back and haunt him at the end. When he has to go into the clean and jerk, he's not going to have the timing down there. But this guy is so powerful, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think it's one thing me and Sean were actually talking about earlier. We saw Chandler post something earlier doing, I think he hit 355 in practice.
Yeah.
But like I said, it wasn't the cleanest technique, but how physically strong Chandler Smith is. He can get away with a lot, but like you said, that ceiling is probably a little bit lower without that technique added to it.
Yeah, you remember too, I'm a weightlifting coach. I'm not a CrossFit coach, so you know, I'm going to pick this down from weightlifting from that point of view. But if this guy's doing 355 with technique like that, there's no reason he shouldn't be doing over 400 with good technique for sure.
The next window has started. Brendan Willis was the only man who didn't hit 300 pounds. So Chandler Smith was successful. Pat Vellner was successful. Jacob Hepner getting set for his jerk in the upper left-hand part of your screen. And Hepner will hit that. So Jacob Hepner hanging in there so far.
Yeah, I thought Noah Olson, I did see his. I thought he looked really good. I thought Hepner looked good on that as well.
I think from what we saw in Hepner's warm-up when he was starting at 275, it looked pretty shaky. But since then, I mean, I know he's not the strongest guy here, but he's still a pretty strong guy. His reps have actually gotten a little bit better as the weight's gone up. So should be a little bit confidence building for Jacob Hepner.
Yeah, I noticed the exact same thing when I saw his 275. I saw his legs, you know, I saw his pull look good, but coming out of that hole on that on the clean, it looked a little struggling to me, but that one looked really good.
Let's take one more look at this is Hepner at 310.
Not a bad lift. He needs to get the head through and chest through a little bit more, but all in all, it wasn't a bad lift. He's going to have to really catch that bar bounce. He's got to get that if he's going to get up with a heavier weight. If he stays down there in that bottom, it's going to be a struggle for him to get out of the hole, and then that's going to make it harder for the jerk for him.
Coach, what kind of athlete is easier to turn into a great lifter? Someone who has already a good technique, but not necessarily the strength, but maybe an athlete like Chandler Smith who has a ton of strength, but maybe not the greatest technique.
Yeah, I would tell you that I'm looking for gymnast. I'm looking for a person that's got good mobility, speed, and then I can get them strong. But taking a guy that's very, very strong and then trying to go back and get the mobility for him is a tough thing to do. Doesn't mean it can't be done. If he's willing to put the time in, I'll guarantee you he can get it.
We still have only one athlete who has bowed out, and that's Brendan Willis, as he was out at the 300-pound bar. So 17 athletes still alive here. This is the fourth event. We have 3 total events today. This one is worth 100 points to the winner, 95 for second and 90 for third. And if you weren't with us yesterday, we talked about how Rogue Fitness actually sent a crate of equipment to all of these athletes along with instructions on how their floor needed to be laid out. That was done to keep everything as fair as possible so that they couldn't set up their gyms to where maybe they had shorter transitions, equipment was in different places. So they tried to keep everything as uniform as possible. So less than a minute to go before we hit window number 4, and the weight will now be 320 pounds on the bar.
I think that 320 next bar, 330 is where we're going to start to see some athletes really having to put some work in to get to that next level.
That's why the whole point here is being able to create a lot of speed through the middle quickly, get under the bar, and that bounce, when that bar has a tendency to kind of bend a little bit, use that bounce to get out of the hole. So that's the efficient use of the legs is critical here now.
One thing I've never seen my bar do is bend. I think I need to add a little bit more weight on the sides.
That's because you catch it, Chase.
Oh.
I'm never going to live that one down on a worldwide
I
national
feel bad
broadcast.
because I've been that coach told me that about don't say catch, say receive, and I I didn't catch it, for lack of a better term. So Chandler Smith will hit his lift. Pat Vellner, upper left-hand corner. He will make that. Alexander Caron was successful as well, Yonakoski, so it still looks like everybody is alive here. Nicholas Joyal just hit his jerk.
Hepner still had his jerk to go. I don't know what he got. Yeah, he got a little buried. Oh, all right, that's good for him. He got a little buried in the receiving position of that squat. I actually was surprised he got up with it.
Yeah, there you have it. He's going to have a problem. But I watched Karen on that. Holy cow! This guy, we're in for a contest here. This guy is a beast. That is awesome.
Meanwhile, Pat Vellner looking to solidify his hold on the top spot on the overall leaderboard. This is his lift at 320 pounds.
Yeah, look, that's very efficient. Look how explosive he is through the middle. I love the way he takes in the air. Look at the quick hands, quick arms. Vellner looks unbeatable, really. I mean, that really was a good lift right there.
Jacob Hepner reloading his bar. He is hanging in there. He's trying to hold on to second place overall as Noah Olson is just 20 points back of him. So let's take a look.
Well, what I saw of Olson looks pretty good. All right,
so this is Hepner's lift here at 320.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Look at the back there. There's, man, whew. Lot of lower back issues at that one. That's tough.
Meanwhile, Noah Olson is the man who sits in third place overall, and he's hoping to leapfrog Jacob Hepner into second. Let's take a look at Noah Olson's lift at 320 pounds.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. Love the way he sets the bar for the rack. Strong, good dip and drive, fast hands. Very, very nice. Nicely done.
Finally to Chandler Smith, who currently sits in fourth place overall. He's just 10 points back of Olson for third, and he was successful at 320. Let's take a look at his attempt.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's effective though. He gets the job done.
Oh,
God,
the
he's so
jerk.
strong.
The jerk is unbelievable. I mean, seriously, but that clean, man, this guy, I wish I had him for a while, honestly.
Now, Coach, when you were talking about Hepner's back, what about that do you see being kind of deficiencies there, or what might be causing that for Hepner?
Well, he's pushing the bar away from him, or he's actually pushing his body away from the bar. It's really, and that might be because of what you said, I think, Chase, is that he's really holding that position up way too long. That bar's on his chest, and he's going to really have a tendency to want to be more upper body driven instead of the legs, and he ends up just pushing his body away from the bar. He's got to drive through that bar. That bar is going to be in a straight line. He's got to drive his body through the bar, and he's actually driving his body away from the bar. So it's going to be inefficient. When that weight gets too heavy, he's just not going to be able to make it.
330 pounds on the bar, 10 seconds to go. We'll be keeping an eye on, of course, the men who are atop the overall leaderboard on the top row, but also want to watch Alexander Caron, who's right in the middle of the second row.
Oh, my God.
Man. Okay.
So no problem for Caron. That was about picture perfect.
Oh, my goodness.
Chandler Smith will hit his lift. Vellner successful. Hepner getting set up for his jerk in the upper left-hand part of your screen. So 330 for Jacob Hepner.
He just sits on his chest way too long.
Way too much.
It won't be able to hit the jerk, so that's going to be a no rep. And Jacob Hepner, unless he's going to make another go at this thing.
No, there's no way he's going to make that. Not with that technique.
Jacob Hepner looking like he's going to bow out on the 330-pound bar. So that will now we have to wait and see how far he's going to fall on the overall leaderboard, because the two men right behind him, Noah Olson and Chandler Smith, are still alive. So a good opportunity for the two of those athletes to catch up to Hepner here and change up the top of the leaderboard a little bit. But I was watching Alexander Caron, and Coach, I don't know if you were keeping an eye on him, but he looked great. Cole Sager is another powerful athlete. We have his lift. So let's take a look at Cole Sager at 330 pounds.
Oh, yeah, that looks good. Yeah, Cole's gonna really have to snap those arms into place. He's trying to hold the bar too much, and that weight's getting heavy now. If he doesn't have the snappy arms through that, then he's going to have an issue with heavier weight.
We are down to 16 athletes as Jacob Hepner has bowed out, and he will take a seat. One more look at Jacob Hepner's failed lift at 330 pounds.
I would love to have Hepner at my gym for about a week to square away that jerk. I mean, honestly, here's a guy that's very powerful. You know, I get his legs stronger, but this jerk is terrible. I mean, I don't want to be too critical of it, but it's just, he's pushing his body away from it. See how he does that? It's like the old-time press is what it is, and it's got an issue with that. But jerks from behind the neck would really help him a lot.
You know, all this time in between, I would be on my phone hoping I could get like a personal coaching lesson from
exactly.
Coach B in between this. But I think some of the different than the other events that we have is, you know, being able to, you could probably get on your phone and see how everyone else is doing and how that stacks up. Because again, these guys are in isolation; they have no idea what's going on. And when it comes to a lift, you're either good at it or you're not. It's really hard to like game day it. Some guys have that like PR competition lifts. At least in the CrossFit setting, but
well, Hepner's certainly a good athlete. There's no doubt about that. But he needs some work on the clean. I would go back to I like to know how he front squats. But if you look at that clean is so. I think it's a beautiful clean receiving position. But I'll guarantee you, he doesn't go that deep when he does front squats, and that's an issue.
So 30 seconds to go before we start round 6 at 340 pounds. We saw Alexander Caron a little while ago, and he is a guy who can make up a ton of ground here. He sits in 8th place overall, 235 points. He's smack dab in the middle of your screen, second row right in the middle. So he's looking to maybe punch his way into the top 5. Jacob Hepner, Brendan Willis, the only two men who are out of the competition right now. $340.
Jeez.
And Alexander Caron's still looking great.
Oh, gosh.
Chandler Smith hits that. Yonakoski has failed his jerk. Vellner is successful.
Noah Olson's arm speed is amazing. Looks really good.
Moonweiler will hit his lift. Or a no rep. He did not have it. It looked like he had it, but he wasn't underneath it. So Adrian Moonweiler running into some problems here. He still has some time, but he's expended a lot of energy. He's in the upper right-hand part of your screen. Came in 5th place overall.
Oh.
Come on, let's go.
And won't be able to make it. So Adrian Moonweiler will bow out, and that's big for athletes like Bjorn Gudmundsson, Cole Sager, and Alexander Caron, the men right behind him in the overall leaderboard, as Moonweiler came in 5th place, 285 points. So he and Yonakoski, the two men who have bowed out in this round. So Alexander Caron has a chance to make up some ground here, and he continues to look really good on these lifts.
I'll tell you what, I'll adopt him right now.
Here's his 340-pound clean and jerk.
Look at that nice wide grip as well, guys. Now, that was a little ugly, actually, on the receiving position. But he is quick and strong. Look at this. that head through it. Yeah, not bad. Clean up a little bit of things, but I'm being very critical, believe me.
I would say, how about from the next lift? Any critiques or tips you could kind of give him, at least tweak that, maybe going up to the next 10 pounds?
Yeah, he's going to have to really stay tight in that receiving position. That's the big thing for him right now. If he lets the bar control him, then he's going to have an issue.
Here's Janikowski. He failed the jerk at 340.
You kidding me? Wow. Yeah, that was just terrible leg drive, that's all. And then slow arms. You got to, the most important part of that jerk is that dip and drive. You really got to put a lot of momentum and speed on that barbell in order to bring in the arms. Now, he probably could have still made that, but his arms were very slow. He's got to punch the heck out of that barbell.
Is that focusing more, and you said no leg drive, when that bar is in that receiving position and the weight it feels there, that focus on maybe the upper body trying to be doing too much is a combination of like no leg drive and focus on the arms makes that slow?
Well, I think what happens is these guys don't breathe and stack. So you take in the air, breathe, stack, dip, drive. You know, it's got to be that stacking action is really going to allow you to get a lot of drive the proper way. And it's nothing more than a basic hard-duty, hardcore jump that creates elevation and momentum on the barbell. Now, Koski at that point just had slow hands. The bar was up enough, but it wasn't fast enough, and he had slow hands. And if he could have speed up the arms, he would have gotten that lift.
We are down to 10 athletes now as we move into round 7, 350 pounds.
I want to watch Panchik this time to see how he's doing.
Saxon Panchik is in the second row. He's second from right, if you want to watch along with Coach B. And round 7 underway. Jorgen Gudmundsson has made his lift. Chandler Smith has hit his. Pat Vellner's lift is good.
Ben Smith got his.
No, Panchik missed the jerk.
Oh, Olsen.
Noah Olsen will make that lift as well. Will Morad is making another attempt here. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So Will Morad is going to bow out here in round 7. Noah Olsen has stayed alive as he looks to move into second place overall behind Pat Vellner. Here's Saxon Panchik. And he will make that.
Great.
Wow.
I thought he missed that. That was awesome, actually. That was really. Do you see the speed of the elbows on how important that is?
Yes.
And that comes in because of that dip and drive. His dip and drive was awesome. Maybe a little bit out front of him, but the elbows came in so quick to lock him under the bar. Then he could recover with it. That was a great job. And I actually thought from that small screen, I thought he missed it. But that was awesome, really.
Saxon Panchik will load his bar now to 360. Let's go to Pat Vellner's good lift at 350.
Up. Look at those arms. You see that? Great dip, great drive, fast arms. The clean needed a little bit more as far as I'm concerned. I think he was a little soft at the bottom, but he got up with it nicely. But that dip and drive is what made that lift. That was a great job.
Just 7 athletes remain now as Alexander Caron was unable to make that lift, so he will bow out.
That blows me away.
Bit of a surprise, but here's Chandler Smith at 350.
Whoa. Okay, Chandler, come to California. That guy is so beastly strong. It's amazing.
His father
Unbelievable.
played in the National Football League and attended the University of Florida. And Chase, you'll love this. His dad was the fullback for one Emmitt Smith when they were both at Florida.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Gosh, a fullback. That is brute strength, especially back then. Just giant battering rams.
Yeah.
Now,
Seriously.
I think with his 360 lift, you're going to see maybe a couple guys PR their lifts.
Pat Vellner, first place overall coming into this event with 375 points. He had a 55-point lead on Jacob Hepner, who bowed out early on in this event. Noah Olson, he was in third place coming in, so he has a chance to move into second. Olson with 300 points, just 20 points back of Jacob Hepner. And then Chandler Smith, we just saw him. He sat in fourth. So Smith and Olson have a chance of moving into the top three. And Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson, sixth place overall coming in, 280 points. Only 20 points back of Noah Olson for third. So he's looking to slide up the leaderboard as well with two events.
Now, Sean, I'm looking at this. If these lists are correct, if anyone makes this, it's a PR. No one has done 360 in this group if this is recent stats for him.
Chandler Smith has made the clean. He stood that up. Gudmundsson can't hit it. Vellner can't make his. Ben Smith has hit his clean, and Olson won't make that, so it's down to the Smiths. And Chandler will just muscle through that, and he will hit it. And I think Hochberg may have gotten it as well on the bottom right.
And Ben's clean looks so good, though.
I'm going to call his daddy and say if he can come out here and visit me.
Gosh, I cannot imagine what he could do.
Oh, he's so athletic, it's unbelievable. I mean, everything he's got right now is just raw strength is what it is. And he's an athlete. Come on. He's, you improvise, adapt, and overcome. That's the whole idea.
So Ben Smith is going to go again here at 360.
Come on, Ben. Come on, buddy. Go.
The clean is good.
Easy.
Just can't stabilize it.
If he got his head through that, he would have made that lift. That was a great clean, too. And it was a great jerk, except it was just out front a little bit.
I can't imagine attempting that twice in 60 seconds and to get to where he got.
Can't imagine trying to deadlift that in 20 seconds.
Speaking my language there, Sean.
Yeah.
Here's Chandler Smith, who just by sheer force of will was able to make this lift.
Look at his left leg. Oh, my goodness. So strong.
Yeah.
Took a lot longer than he usually does in the setup there.
Whoa, man.
I don't even know what the hell to say, honestly. I mean, it is like brute strength. That's just incredible.
That is a bad man.
Yes, it is.
Oh, gosh darn. I would, give any kind of coaching with him at all would just be absolutely amazing. Because he is so brutally strong. It's incredible. He's so athletic. It's just incredible. He's got a lot of potential in the Olympic lifts if he continued to go with that route.
And Chandler Smith is a captain in the U.S. Army, and we want to wish the U.S. Army a happy birthday today. June 14th, 1775.
Wow.
So it's down
He's
to two.
in the Army. Beautiful. I love it.
Lucas Hochberg and Chandler Smith.
Now, Hochberg really needs this based off what he had in day one. It's kind of flipping the script where him versus Hepner was after this event, because this event might hurt Hepner to the point of not being able to recover in the next two.
Well, this is huge for Hochberg. He is in dead last right now with 115 points. He'd add 100 points to that total and rocket up the leaderboard if he could win this event. And Chandler Smith was only 10 points back of Noah Olson, so Chandler Smith could very easily find himself in second place overall.
We talked about that this morning on who we thought would do well based off the events today, and Chandler Smith was one of those guys we were looking at in that fourth place position, and this being a great event for him to start off with just because of the raw strength that he has.
Well, I love the fact that he's a warrior too, representing our country, and then coming out here and doing this. Is just he's a good role model for all of us.
If my son comes to me one day and tells me he wants to be Chandler Smith, I will consider myself a successful parent.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Round 9, Lucas Hogberg's going to start. Chandler Smith is going to take his time. Hogberg trying to work his way out of the squat. That won't happen. I don't know if Chandler Smith is going to make an attempt here or if he's just going to take all the rest that he possibly can. Chandler Smith does have the tie-break time over Hogberg. So if they both fail these lifts, Chandler Smith will win the event based on his tie-break time on the first part, which seems a long time ago. It was a 7 clean and jerks for time at 255 pounds. Smith is going to go for it. So he's going to maybe make just one attempt here. He's going to use all the time he can. As long as he starts the lift inside that minute window, he's okay.
Yeah, I think this is smart for him to do that way too.
Lucas Hogberg, attempt number 2 for him.
Yeah.
And Smith says not going to happen, but Chandler Smith and Lucas Hogberg did hit 360. Chandler Smith has the tiebreak, so Chandler Smith will win the event, and he could be in second place overall with 2 events remaining.
That was incredible. Gosh, that was fun.
And Chandler, you have an open invitation to come train with Coach B anytime.
Anytime, anytime. And the fact that you're a warrior even makes it that much better.
And we're not done with Coach B because we've got the women coming up next.
Can't wait.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. But Lucas Hogberg will take second place in the event. He needed that. That's 95 points as he looks to move out of last place overall. And Chandler Smith on the birthday of the United States Army gets the event win and is going to move up the overall standings in the process.
And go ahead, Coach.
I'm sorry. The guy that impressed me the most, though, and he shouldn't have impressed me, even though he missed the lift, was Ben Smith. Mm-hmm. I mean, that guy is absolutely crazy strong. Technique-wise, he's very efficient. Of all of them, I think he had the best technique of everybody there.
All right, so let's take a look back at what Chandler Smith did. We'll look at 3 of his lifts. This is 330 that he hit.
Notice on his dip, too. Look at his feet on the dip.
This is 350.
Look where his feet stay. That left foot. Strong. Crazy.
And then finally, this is 360.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah, that was pretty ugly. But you know, if he widened his grip, that would be so much better for him too. He would get more speed on those elbows. Right now, he's just a very strong man. I mean, he is just powerful and strong. You clean up that technique a little bit with that strength, and he's going to be doing over 400 pounds easily.
And so Chandler Smith will get the event win as he hits 360 pounds, and we will get set for the women's competition. But here are your event results. Remember, Chandler Smith, by virtue of the tiebreak, will win the event. So Lucas Hogberg, that was a huge result for him as he looks to get out of last place overall. Pat Vellner will stay in first place overall. Noah Olson will likely be in the top 3, and Bjorn Karl Gubensson moving up the leaderboard as well. So just 2 events to go now for the men as we get set for women's competition. But that was pretty impressive to see those guys lift that. And I guess I don't know whether I should be impressed by what Chandler Smith did because of the lack of technique, or if I should say, man, we really got to clean that up.
I would tell you that, you know, he's so strong. You know, as a weightlifting coach, I look at mobility, speed, and strength. He's certainly got the speed and he's certainly got the strength. His mobility is just not where it needs to be. And if he cleans that up a little bit, that speed and strength and that athleticism that he has will really allow him to do a 400-pound clean and jerk easily, I would think, and in a relatively short period of time. But, getting back to what I said earlier about Ben Smith is so technical and efficient. It's unbelievable. So with him, we like to get his strength up more because his power, his explosiveness is right where it needs to be. His efficiency in the clean as well as the jerk is where it needs to be. But a little bit more strength for him, and that would definitely help out.
Coach, obviously no two athletes are the same and everyone has different strengths and weaknesses, but there are probably some people out there who are watching who want to get better at their own Olympic weightlifting. Where's the first place they should start to find out exactly what they need to work on?
I would tell you to find a coach in your area that you can rely on, somebody that's certified either through CrossFit or USA Weightlifting or the Bergner Strength certification. But you want to be able to, have a coach that's going to be able to look at your technique and then evaluate your strengths and weaknesses and then design the program that is based on your weaknesses. So if I wrote a program for all three of us, our programs would not be the same. We know we're going to snatch, we know we're going to clean and jerk, and we know we're going to front squat. But other than that, the weaknesses that I have and that you have are going to be entirely different. So the program needs to be designed about improving my weaknesses to bring me up to a higher level. So I think a certified coach, a coach that knows what they're doing, is what they need to go to find out what those strengths and weaknesses are.
We're going to take a quick break. Before we go, though, we're going to catch up with CJ Cummings, American weightlifter. I spoke with him earlier today, so we'll give you that interview. Take a quick break, come back with continuing coverage of the 2020 Rogue Invitational with Event 4 for the women. Stick around, everybody. Being joined now by the man who holds 22 American records. He's a junior, youth, and senior Pan Am champion. He is a youth and junior world champion, and he holds youth and junior records in the clean and jerk. He is CJ Cummings. And CJ, take us through the whole experience for you when you learned that the Olympics were going to be postponed, and then how that affected your plans this year.
The hope was to go to the Olympics, but unfortunately, events happened that, preventing us from going. So it's just like, it's just taking it easy for now and just preparing for what's next.
Now you have another year to train. So how has that affected your preparation as you get ready to go to Tokyo in 2021?
Yes. Me and my coach, we changed our training schedule. We used to work out, hit it heavy, Monday through Friday. But now we only do 3 days a week, which is Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And those days really hard and really intense. So I kind of like it better because instead of going 5 days a week, you go 3 days, a week, and it's just hard and heavy, and you just get after it. So I like the new schedule, and it did affect my training.
You spend your whole life getting ready and trying to make it to the Olympics, and then you reach that point, and then they postpone it. How have you dealt with that disappointment?
So basically, I was top ranked to go, and I believe I still am. But so it was around March. So I was supposed to be getting ready to gear up for the Junior Worlds. So basically, that got canceled, and then everything around the world just started shutting down. So it's just it's always I wonder if they canceled the Olympics, but I kept saying to myself I hope not, and just it's competition after competition. Everything just got canceled. So then when it comes to find out the Olympics canceled, so it's just dang. So it's just what next? So pretty much what we've been doing was we've been training because I think everything's starting to open back up and there's going to be a competition at the end of this year. So my goal is to just keep making myself better until next year, to the 2020 Olympics.
Well, CJ, we appreciate your time. Best of luck moving forward, and we look forward to seeing you in Tokyo in 2021.
Thank you for having me. It's been my pleasure, and I can't wait to watch the Invitational.
Day 2 of the 2020 Rogue Invitational continues as the women are set for Event 4 presented by GoRuck, the Clean and Jerk Liftoff. Toomey, your overall leader, coming into the event, but she's going to have to hold off the likes of Sarah Sigmundsdottir Jamie Simmonds and Cara Saunders, all powerful athletes who have a chance of maybe overtaking the top spot from Tia Toomey. Should be a great battle. Chase Ingram and Coach Mike B are here as well. Let's take a look at Event 4, presented by Go Ruck. This is a two-part event, but it is scored as one part. The first part is going to be just a tie break. It is 7 clean and jerks for time at 165 pounds. We need to do that in case athletes fail on the same bar. That time is used as a tie break to determine final standings. Then it is a clean and jerk liftoff. We start at 195 pounds for the women. They will add 5 pounds each round. They get 1 minute to lift and then a 3-minute rest. And here's Chris Spieler on more on Event 4 presented by Go Ruck.
So in regards to programming an event that's all online, really it came down to just what equipment was available. Josh and I talked to Bill and Katie and what that was going to look like, possibly sending kits out, things like that. Judging, all sorts of pieces came into this. But really what Josh and my role was to try to create a really fun, well-rounded test that was exciting for you guys to watch and something that was really felt fair and challenging for these athletes. So at the end of the day, we just tried to find ways to create really classic programming, challenges our athletes, makes it a fun and effective way for them to test their fitness and also not beat them up. I think events like this, really important for us to give athletes a chance to shine and also still be able to look forward to that big day at the games they can really throw down and put their fitness to use.
I'm back here with Chase Ingram and Coach Bergener. And Chase, let's talk keys to the event. What do you think the keys are here to Event 4?
When approaching this event specifically from the competitive side is that use the first part to set the technique, not just the tone, because this is going to kind of foray into that separator. We saw a lot of athletes get tied up on the men's side, so this does matter, but you don't want to be sloppy. And then in between, there's so much rest in between these big lifts, is that don't get complacent, don't get mentally lazy between. Focus on the technique and what you're supposed to do for the next lift.
All right, now that we've heard from Chase, Coach B, set us straight here. What are you going to be watching during this event?
Well, I think the big thing is to watch when the weight starts getting heavy, to see where that athlete receives the bar into that clean. And then I want to know if that athlete's been practicing that depth in his front squat training. And you're going to find that the athletes that really go deep into the front squat will receive that clean, heavy, and then be able to get up with it. Where those that go to standard, where the hip's just below the knee, that's where they do their front squats. When they get driven to the ground, they're going to have much more of a challenging point to get out of that hold. Then that's going to affect their jerk.
All 17 athletes will be lifting at the same time. And again, we begin with the 7 clean and jerks for time at 165 pounds. Now, the last time the three of us were together watching women compete in a liftoff event, it was at the games last year, and it came down to Tia Toomey. She's in the upper left-hand part of your screen, and Amanda Barnhart, who's in the bottom third row. She's second from left next to Chrissy O'Connell. The two of them had an epic battle. And remember, Amanda Barnhart was on a bad ankle for that event. She's now healthy. Really looking forward to seeing the rematch between the two of these athletes here.
For me, I'm excited to see that back and forth. And Sean, as you said, Amanda was banged up. And it was kind of crazy to watch because her cleans at the games were so effortless until she kind of hit that one weight that shut her down. But I'm also excited to have more athletes in the field to go along with them. Cara Saunders, one of the strongest women in the field. Laura Horvath as well. Sarah Sigmund's daughter. These are all the names we didn't get to see in that max lift event at the games.
Yeah, I've been watching them warm up too, back just as much as I can. And I'll tell you what, Sigmund's daughter really looks sharp right now. Her speed and efficiency looks outstanding. And of course, Barnhart's a favorite of mine anyway.
Sarah Sigmund's daughter, third place overall, 10 points back of Jamie Simmonds for second, and 35 points back of Tia Toomey for first. Sarah Sigmund's daughter last year at this event finished second to Tia Toomey. Almost ready for the start of part one, the tiebreak, the 7 clean and jerks at 165 for time. Not a scored event, just strictly a tiebreak.
I think at this weight for these women, that is going to go very fast.
Oh, yeah. Extremely fast. I love this, too. It's the tiebreak. It's speed, explosiveness. The technique could go out the door here, too, but it is what it is.
And look at Amanda Barnhart in the bottom row the bottom complete row. She's second from right, just touch and go the whole way.
Jeez.
She is such a beast, I'm telling you. Wow.
Barnhart is done. Sigmund's daughter is done. Toomey is in third. Horvath. So Barnhart in just 18.20 seconds unofficially. Sigmund's daughter a second behind her, and Toomey just 3 seconds back.
Yeah.
A lot of these athletes are still going. One that didn't really seem to put as much focus on the speed was actually Cara Saunders, fourth on the top row from the left, is that she was actually doing just quick singles. So as you get to those heavier weights, I think for the, those athletes that are the top end lifters, they're not too worried about that because, you get first or second, that tiebreaker is a little bit irrelevant. When you get like that 5-way tie for a third place position, that's where it matters most.
Yeah. Cheryl Nasso got time capped, as I think Sam Briggs may have as well. There's Cara Saunders. She is over in Brisbane, Australia. It is the middle of the night over there right now. Again, we are bringing in feeds from more than 40 locations from around the world here. Take a look at Cara Saunders on her 7 for time.
And it's those quick singles that I was saying that she was doing when they are very quick singles. And that's not to say she was slow by any means, but when you had the likes of, Tia, Amanda, and Sarah just absolutely slamming through these, when you look at the top weights that a lot of these women have lifted, between those 5, they're all within about 5 pounds of each other. So if they even get to that bar, that tiebreaker is going to matter, because if they all get stuck at 255, Cara's going to get the 5th place position based off that tiebreak.
Yeah.
Tia Toomey went touch and go, wasn't able to beat Amanda Barnhart or Sarah Sigmund's daughter.
So what I saw for Tia is actually, when you're watching it with all cameras going, she started later than everybody. So like I said, is that these are all based off the times at which they start in the position that they're in. So I'll have to see what her actual time is relative to the other 2 women, because there was nothing slow about Tia Toomey on those clean and jerks.
Again, the score.
I think Tia's a great athlete, but I'll tell you, Barnhart is an athlete beast. I'm telling you, his technique is very efficient. Last year, I thought her leg strength was needed some work, but you said she was injured in the ankle. But I predicted last year that she was going to be the one to win that thing, but the injury, the leg, held her back.
Well, Coach, let's talk about, say, an ankle injury specifically in weightlifting. You said you focus so much on the feet during the lift itself. So how much can that affect an athlete when they have that injury for specifically with weightlifting?
Well, it just slows you down. I mean, if you've got an ankle, you're tentative in receiving that bar, and you're not going to want to be able to bounce right out of the hole on that clean. As that weight gets heavy, you want to get yourself out of that hole really, really quick. And if you're injured in the ankle, you're going to be stuck down there. It's going to be really hard to recover.
Talking about Amanda Barnhart as we are back here with Chase Ingram and Coach Bergener. Thanks for joining us, everybody, here on day 2 of the 2020 Rogue Invitational. We are in event 4 presented by GoRuck. 2 events remain after this. Let's take a look at the tie-break results right now. These are unofficial. So Amanda Barnhart, 18.20 seconds. And as you mentioned, Chase, Tia Toomey looked extremely fast, and she was. She takes second. So the score is already being adjusted. Laura Horvath is in third. Jamie Simmonds, followed by Danielle Brandon. And Cara Saunders just a 1/10 of a second back of Brandon. So very close among those top 5, top 6 athletes in the tiebreak. This is not a scored event. Just this time will come into play if multiple athletes bow out on the same barbell. Whoever has the fastest time in part 1 will finish ahead of the other athlete. 100 points to the winner of this event, 95 for second, 90 for third, and then it's a 5-point drop from there on as we work our way down the standings. As Kristen Holta, who was on the podium last year at the Games, continues to warm up. Opening attempt for the women will be 195 pounds, and we add 5 pounds every round. They get 3 minutes of rest between each minute window.
Now, Sean, that point you made about the 5-pound jumps, I think is going to be a much bigger deal on the women's side than it was on the men, because the men started at 290 but jumped 10. And when their max lifts were all right about 350, you're talking about 6 lifts. On the women's side, you got your top women right around 260 to 255. And if you start from 195 and only jump 5, you're almost doubling plus some the number of attempts that they're going to be making in this event.
Brooke Wells getting set for her opening lift. Wells in 10th place overall right now, 245 points.
Coach, I have a question for you in terms of warming up. We saw Sarah Simeon's daughter do one of those clean pulls from the floor with a very heavily loaded bar well above what she might be lifting today. What's the process or reason behind you to be doing that for a setup lift?
I think she's just trying to stay warm in there and stay, get the feel of the heavy weight. The weight's going to be lighter for her by feel when she goes to that first attempt. We use that in a weightlifting competition periodically. I'm not a real big fan of it because it's different than a regular clean, but nevertheless, it keeps them warm, and that's, I think, and by mentally getting them squared away for the heavier weight feel. But if you notice that pull, you noticed her arms were like 2x4s, and that's part of the problem. Your arms are like ropes. You want them to be able to just be relaxed, and so the pull will have a tendency to change the technique of the clean too, if you're not careful.
It looks like everybody hit her opening attempt. Here's Sarah Sigmund's daughter. It's no problem for her. I don't think Cheryl Nasso made an attempt. But no problem for Sarah Sigmund's daughter. It's 195 is in the bag for her. Cheryl Nasso is in the third row right in the middle. I haven't seen her make an attempt. In fact, it doesn't even look like her barbell is loaded, so she may be just bowing out at this point and deciding not even to try 195 pounds. We'll wait for the official word on that. But 3-minute break as we now move to 200 pounds.
How'd Haley Adams do on hers?
I believe she hit it, as did Samantha Briggs. Every athlete is safe who made an attempt, but Cheryl Nasso is the only one who looks like she may not have even tried. Samantha Briggs with that incredible performance in event 2 yesterday.
Coach, what do you feel about CrossFitters pacing back and forth in between lifts instead of sitting down on a bench?
What do you think?
I think they probably say catch the bar.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, that's I don't get it. Anyway, it is what it is. I mean, sit your ass down. Look at Tia and look at the athletes that are, Is there any way we can bring up Haley Adams here? I want to take a look at her claim.
We'll see if we can watch that one next time. But we do have Tia Toomey's first lift at 195. Remember, she lifted for Australia in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So no stranger to this setting, and of course on the big stage last year at the games as well.
I really love watching her lift because I'm a big speed through the middle guy, and her leg drive creates that momentum and acceleration on the barbell, and she just kind of pulls herself right into it and gets right up with it. But that leg drive that she has and that technical efficiency that she has really allows a lot of speed under the bar, through the middle, so she can get underneath it easily.
Here's Haley Adams, 9th place. After 3 events, she has 245 total points. She won event number 3 yesterday. So we'll keep an eye on Haley Adams for you, Coach. And
yeah, I preferably would adopt Haley for sure. She's got a lot of potential, but she's got those daggum long femurs, and it's a killer.
Here's Cara Saunders with her opening lift.
Cara Saunders probably has the best build for a weightlifter of the field, I think. She's just ripped for it. She's perfectly built, stacked for a weightlifter.
First time we've seen her in a competition like this since 2018 when she was at the games. Of course, she took a year off, had a daughter, and now she's back. So Cheryl Nasso, yes, is the only athlete who is not going to move on to round number 2. And we are 7 seconds away from lift number 2 at 200 pounds. Tia Toomey is good. Simmonds is good. Haley Adams did her jerk, as did Samantha Briggs. Holton Prevost, and now Horvath in the upper right-hand part of your screen. Her attempt is good. Fee Sagafi will hit her lift. And now Sarah Sigmund's daughter, who decided to take a little extra rest. No problem there. Top of your screen in the middle.
One thing I see a lot less of than I did on the men's side is that power receiving position into that kind of that power jerk or push jerk form. A lot of these athletes are taking the time to get that rhythm of the full movement that they're going to need in that heavier bar.
Yeah, you've really got to you've got to be able to move the. Here's the other thing. I want you guys to watch the feet on these athletes when they clean the weight. If their feet are moving, then they're moving. If their feet are staying stationary on the ground, then as the weight gets heavier, it's going to be hard for them to get that speed they need to be under the bar.
Here's Haley Adams at 200.
Yeah, see, my screen is frozen right now. I can't see anything.
Haley Adams hit that with relative ease. And
Did she power clean it?
She did not.
Yeah.
The one thing I'd like to see for Haley is what has the improvement been since the games from this particular lift? Because we remember at the games when they did that single liftoff format is that she wasn't even able to get to that first bar. Now I know we're not at that weight yet, but I'd like to see what the improvement is over the last few months.
Coach, we're going to show it one more time so you can take a look here.
Yeah, the problem is my screen isn't. It's set in place. It's not moving around. I can't see anything. Everything's just it's stagnant. I can see the athlete, but none of them are moving.
Okay. We'll see if we can get that fixed. Of course, we have a lot of moving parts here when you're bringing in 40 live feeds from around the world. But Haley Adams is still alive. And we move into round 3 as the athletes get set for 205.
Yeah, I spoke with Haley Adams last year a little bit and worked with her a little bit. And the big thing for me is that I told her I didn't want her power cleaning anymore at all. Now I don't, she's got to do what she's got to do, but hopefully, her legs have gotten stronger and she's such a great athlete that, unfortunately she's got those long femurs, so she's never going to be that great clean and jerker, but she can be a lot better if when the weight gets heavy, if she can learn to get underneath that bar the right way and get up with it.
And still relatively young. I mean, she's only 19 years old. So
oh, yeah. No, I know. Yeah.
She has a lot of her career still ahead of her. Jamie Simmonds, who currently sits in second place overall with 310 points. 25 points back at Tia Toomey, trying to keep Toomey within reach with just 2 events remaining here. And there's Kristen Holta, who is 6th place overall, 275 points for her. This is an important event for Kristen Holta if she wants to keep herself in contention for a spot on the podium.
And I don't want to say damage control too much with a lot of different athletes, but the good thing for Holta is in this field, she's in the top half in terms of one of the stronger athletes. So if she can do well and keep it close, there's 2 more events coming up that play well for Kristen Holta.
Round 3, 205 on the bar. So Sam Briggs has missed her opening attempt. Toomey makes hers. Jamie Simmonds has hit hers. Samantha Briggs looking to make another run. Sarah Sigmund's daughter is good. Laura Horvath as well.
Laura looks good. Amanda Bonhart is still power cleaning her first clean. The only one to keep on doing so.
Here's Samantha Briggs, second attempt, 205. And I don't think you can blame Samantha Briggs for having maybe her back is a little tired. She did 261 power snatches yesterday at 65 pounds in event 2.
She's such an animal too. She is so strong mentally and physically both. She's an awesome person, awesome athlete.
I said yesterday, and that was one of the most impressive things I have ever seen in the sport of CrossFit is what Sam Briggs did yesterday in event number 2.
Yeah, amazing. She has no stop. She just keeps going. I mean, she's so amazing.
Here's Laura Horvath at 205.
This is a big lift for Laura, and this is a big opportunity to move herself back up. And, you know, what Coach was talking about in terms of balance and foot position in that reach to the top is she looks very good. And I think the good thing for some of these athletes is that we are starting relatively so light to their maxes, different than what we saw from the men, and these small jumps is that we should be able to see some bigger lifts because of the amount of attempts they'll get to kind of dial in that technique as we advance in the heavier lifts.
I really enjoyed that clean on Horvath. That was a beautiful looking pull off the ground. Then my screen kind of messed up, but off the ground, her positioning of that bar off the ground relatively to her feet was just outstanding.
There's Jamie Simmonds, her lift at 205.
Jamie is a very strong athlete, not just for relative to the field, but just kind of her size as well. She's a smaller athlete, but she packs a powerful punch. Wow. And that second place position she's trying to maintain, she should be able to at least keep that close after this event.
Jamie Simmonds back in 2016 won the World Wide Open. We really wanted to see her compete as an individual, but decided to go team that year. But since then has been a fixture in the individual competition, last year on the podium at the games. So Briggs and Nasso, the two Masters athletes, are the only two who are out of the competition right now as far as this event is concerned. And here's Tia Toomey, 205.
So efficient. God. Look at that arms. I mean, that's no effort whatsoever. It's just easy. Amazing.
I expect to see Tia Toomey survive well into the latter rounds of this event. And remember, it was Toomey and Barnhart who had that epic showdown at the games last year in the clean event.
What I like about this on the women's side is that your top six are almost your same top six with your listed heaviest clean and jerks coming in. So we're not really worried about someone falling out because they're not good at this event like we kind of saw on the men's side, is that these are all powerhouse athletes vying for these top positions that we'll get to see in these later weights.
Set for round 4, 210 pounds on the bar. So Cara Saunders hits her lift. Toomey is good. Brooke Wells is good. Horvath has hit the clean. Sigma's daughter lining up for her first attempt as she's been taking extra rest in every window. Sigma's daughter will hit that. Fisa Goffi looked like she may have failed.
Did you guys see Amanda Barnhart's lift?
Yes.
OMG. Oh my God.
Well, remember last year, Sigma's daughter at the games just power cleaned like 225 like it was nothing.
Well, that's it. We'll find out, you know, when it gets heavy, whether these guys, I mean, Barnhart, that was such an easy lift. It was unbelievable.
We
he
talked
could probably
about
go to 260 right now.
We talked about that on the men's side, you know, you offering when to start cleaning receiving in a full squat or continuing the power clean to maybe save your legs a little bit. When you look at Amanda tackle that lift, I feel like it's still not even at a weight that she has to worry about that at this point, receiving it in a full squat.
And we will be able to get to Amanda Barnhart here in a little bit. There are a lot of technical limitations that we're working with right now, so we're trying to bring you as many athletes as we can. We know a lot of you would want to see some other athletes right now, but technically right now, when we're bringing in this much information, this many streams into one place, sometimes that just cannot happen. But as the field thins, our capability to do that will increase. So just bear with us. We're going to try to cover the competition as best as we possibly can, but we will get to those athletes as the competition moves on, as Sam Briggs playing fetch with her dog. It's a good way to spend a Sunday.
Coach, I had a question for you in terms of, you know, you touched earlier on kind of like body type, like Cara's stacked and built for a weightlifting, and then you were referring to kind of Haley Adams and long femurs. What is it about the long femur that might be a slight disadvantage for someone as like a weightlifter?
Well, pure and simple. They just can't squat worth a crap. That's
I must have long femurs.
Well, if you take a look at the weightlifters, it's relative, right? So if I was Haley Adams' weightlifting coach, not CrossFit coach, but a weightlifting coach, I'd want to put on about 20 pounds on her right away.
Here's Kristen Holta. This was her lift at 205.
Nice jerk. Leg strength's a little off, but the jerk looked really good. The clean pull looked outstanding. Good speed through the middle.
Pardon me,
Don't
that
want to get
was
stuck in the bottom.
that was 210 for Kristen Holta as we now move to round 5 and 215.
And that's getting close to her listed max coming in is 225. So when you're talking about 95% of what your max is, after a full day of competition yesterday, it doesn't surprise me.
There's Haley Adams at 210.
Come on, Haley, get up. Oh, that's not too bad for her, actually. Jerk looks awesome. I don't know, something about the long femur girls too. They can jerk. They just can't get out of the hole there. That's a big problem. My daughter is one of them, and she can jerk the world, but she can't clean for crap.
Call that tough love.
Oh, I love her. She's awesome.
Yes, she is.
So 15 seconds to go before we enter round 5. 215 pounds now on the bar. Amanda Barnhart going with the squat clean.
That's for the first time.
And she will hit that jerk no problem. Tia Toomey hits her lift, as does Jamie Simmonds. Brooke Wells made hers. Looks like Kristen Holta hit her lift. Turia Helgadottir is good. And Sigmund's daughter is good. Danielle Brandon staying alive as well.
Haley Adams had a real nice jerk. The clean was a little struggling for her, but the jerk looked really good. Barnhart's a beast. If her leg strength is up right now, Barnhart is really going to be the one to watch.
215 is good, and now we're going to move to 220.
And that was the first squat clean, for lack of a better term. I'm not saying I use that all the time.
One more look at Haley Adams, 215.
Good speed. Now watch this. Oh, God. Bring those hips back under the bar. Good. She did that. Her jerk is really looking good, though. Holding it a little bit too much, but look at that. Good fast hands, fast feet. Not bad.
I thought that last jerk was being better than or this one was better than the last one.
Yeah. No, I think her jerk is really solid. For me personally, I think she's going to have a hard time with this clean, getting out of the hole here. But you notice how her hips came back under the bar? That's really important for her because she's going to have a tendency to want to stand up with her rear end first, and her body's going to go here. But what she did was brought her hips back under the bar, and that allowed her to continue on with that full clean. It was really nice. She did a good job with that lift.
Tia Toomey following your advice, Coach, and having a seat.
Absolutely.
So we have less than 2 minutes to go before we hit round 6, 220 pounds on the barbell. Tia Toomey once again coming in as the overall leader with 335 points, and that woman, Jamie Simmonds, just 25 points back.
And this 220 weight, 225s, and we'll start to see things get a little bit more interesting on the women's side in terms of getting to those listed maxes that they've had.
What's her listed max?
Which one?
This girl right here.
Jamie Simmonds.
Simmonds
What?
is 245.
Okay. I really like the way she pulls that bar. Look at that jerk too, man. That is beautiful. Yeah, excellent jerk.
Simmonds taking a break.
She's stacked like a weightlifter too. I really enjoy her physique for weightlifting is again, like the girl from Australia, is just really outstanding.
3rd overall at the games last year. There's Cara Saunders.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like her physique, and she's just stacked in there like a weightlifter needs to be.
And again, Cara Saunders over in Australia. It's the middle of the night for her right now.
God.
Amazing.
Now Tia Toomey will get ready for her attempt at 220 pounds. There's Carolyn Prevost. First look we're going to get at her.
And this is a big lift for her. This is her listed max that we've got at 220.
.220 on the bar. This is round 6. Cara Saunders hits her jerk. Carolyn Prevost has made hers. Toomey's good, as is Simmonds. Sigmund's daughter getting set up. She will hit that.
Boy, watch out. Sigmund's daughter's looking good. Barnhart's looking amazing to me right now.
Carolyn Prevost had no problem as well.
Wow. Well, last year at this time at the games, I thought Barnhart was going to be the one to beat, but then the weight got heavy. Then all of a sudden her technique and the legs went down. So I'm interested to see what she does when that weight gets up there. Right now she looks amazing.
So Kristen Holte has yet to hit 220. As long as she starts to lift inside of the minute window, she's fine. So she can make another attempt. Try and stay alive here and move on to 225.
Oh.
And Holte will hit it. And Kristen Holte.
Wow. She had actually missed her first attempt, too. That was her second one in the minute.
Second attempt, she's going to make it. So extra energy expended, but she does stay alive as we move to 225.
Something about that, I'm about to get cut adrenaline.
Unfortunately, I couldn't see it because my screen is frozen again.
So Haley Adams bows out on that one as well. So now it's Briggs, Adams, Nasso, Sagafi, and David's daughter who are no longer in this event.
I think one athlete that we should keep our eye on, Helga daughter down there with David's daughter, is actually a very experienced lifter herself.
There's Toomey's last lift at 215, or 220, pardon me.
Looks pretty easy.
Man.
I mean, that jerk looks so smooth, it's unbelievable. So effortless.
And the thing you want to see with these athletes, Coach, is that it doesn't matter the weight on the bar, that it looks the same. I haven't seen any deviation from 195 to 220.
Absolutely. And that's the way it's supposed to be. You make the light lifts look exactly the same as the heavy lifts. That's the technique efficiency that we're working on. And you think at this lighter weight, you look slow as smooth as fast. I mean, it's just effortlessly hitting all those positions that you need to hit.
And here's Sigmund's daughter at 220.
Really nice speed through the middle. Excellent job there. Look at that speed, power. Awesome. Nicely done.
Sigmund's daughter, third place overall with 300 points, just 10 points back of Jamie Simmonds for second, 35 points back of Tia Toomey for first.
I think 225 is always kind of that benchmark weight for the clean and jerk for a lot of CrossFit athletes on the women's side. So this will be a big number to get through for a few of them.
Well, I'll tell you what, Toomey, Sigmund's daughter, Barnhart, and they're really looking good to me.
And Sigmund's daughter's been taking a little extra rest every window. She's usually one of the last athletes to get to the barbell.
And the thing with that is that it's at least the consistent, right? It's always about 20 seconds into the minute. So with the 3 minutes in between, it's really not that big of a deal yet. It's the same time for her. At least that's consistent.
Yeah.
Maybe she just wants to lift all by herself out there.
Round 7,
doubt.
225 pounds now on the barbell. And we are underway. Carolyn Prevost and Cara Saunders make their clean. Holte has missed hers. Saunders hits the jerk. Toomey hits the jerk. Prevost misses her attempt.
I feel like Barnhart's doing these reps for time right now.
Simmonds is good. Horvath is good. Now Prevost missed her jerk. She's in the second row, second from right. Both she and Holta have yet to succeed on this weight. So Prevost taking a quick seat, and I think she's going to make another run. Again, as long as they start the lift inside the minute window, they're okay. So Prevost and Holta both approaching the barbell again.
I almost say wait a few more seconds. You got the time.
Sure.
Here's
That's
Holta's
a smart
lift.
call.
Won't be able to get out of the hole, and now Carolyn Prevost, the woman who has 11 national championships in 4 different sports. Prevost will stand that up.
Oh.
And she will make the jerk. So Carolyn Prevost, who also won 2 national championships with the University of Wisconsin women's hockey team, a math, science, and PE teacher for a high school in Canada as well.
If these numbers are updated, that should have been a 5-pound PR for Carolyn Prevost.
That was a beautiful lift, too. That was very strong. I'll tell you the other thing, too. I watched Toomey on that lift. That lift on Toomey looked better than any other lift she's done, I think.
And do you
Very
see it a lot
strong.
when they start getting to maybe that 90% and more? Is that just starts to look a little bit better? I mean, for myself, is I've always felt that weird 70 to 80%, I'm always a little bit off, but that extra weight kind of helps shore up the technique a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a great comment, too, because you see that stuff happening because I'm just not focused as strong. It's a no-brainer, but it can also come and bite you in the hind end, too, later on if you're not focusing on it. But to me that time, her other lifts were easy peasy, not bad. But this one, she really stayed tight on the receiving position of the clean. She stood up with it much easier than before. So she's starting to get a little bit more focused in on that as well. I'm really impressed with that Provost girl from Canada, you said, when she came back and made that lift. That was amazing to me.
There's Toomey at 225.
See, that's so much easier than the last ones, I think. And that's stronger stack in that split position as well. So she's starting to get serious here. She knows she's going to have to really focus on her technique if she's going to continue to go up as far as she needs to.
I think a little thing I saw on that, to your point, Coach, is that, those lighter weights, sometimes you just don't catch it, as you said, as deep as maybe you normally would at those heavier weights, and maybe we're getting to that weight that sits her in that better position.
Yeah. I would encourage everybody that is going to do heavy lifting in the clean and jerk that your front squat needs to be practiced at the deepest position you receive your clean. And that a lot of times you'll see that's why people don't do well with heavy cleans, because they don't practice the front squat in that heavy position.
And there is Amanda Barnhart.
This girl's amazing.
Getting set for 230 pounds.
I said before in the last lift is that her lifts are so fast. It's just kind of like, let me just get this over with. Let me know when we get to 250.
Yeah.
Barnhart in 12th place overall coming into this event with 220 total points. So now we're down to 9 athletes.
And then Laura Horvath, she's 4 from the left on the top row. In her last one, she's been very deliberate in kind of holding those receiving positions, especially on her jerk. So I like kind of her setting those technical spots for these heavier lifts.
230. Kristen Holta having trouble with that lift. Simmonds misses. Toomey's good. Saunders is good. Prevost is good as well, and Horvath will hit that.
Sticking. That's that holding I was talking about.
I blinked and I missed Amanda Barnhart.
Oh, well, you did. What? Everybody missed her. Shit, she was so far out in front. It's unbelievable.
I think the one thing I saw.
Wow.
So 230
Barnhart
good for Amanda
really
Barnhart.
Looks good. Yeah, she looks good here. Look at this. Look at that speed through the middle there. Jesus.
Now, Coach, do you think that's a little bit of a shorter split than maybe she could be doing with the feet?
My screen blanked, so it froze. I didn't see it.
Here's Jamie Simmonds. And she will get it.
Wow.
So she had to hit that lift to stay alive, and she started it inside that minute window, so she is okay, and she will move on to 235, and that's big for her because she's trying to keep Tia Toomey within reach. Toomey came into this event with a 25-point lead over Simmonds for the top spot on the leaderboard, so Simmonds doing herself a favor with that lift. Is Kristen Holta the only woman not to hit that lift at 230 pounds, so she has now been eliminated.
What is Holt's? What is her max lift that she has listed there?
Her coming in was 225.
Yeah.
So she got above that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. She's still doing really well. I'll tell you what, that hockey player from Wisconsin is impressive, man.
Cara
Look
Saunders.
at that position. Oh
She
goodness.
seems so upright.
She is a beast. She is really strong. I love that. I'll take her, I'll adopt her and her child.
It's good stock.
You're gonna have a lot of mouths to
baby
feed
Saunders.
there, Coach B.
You know, the thing about the clean and jerk, too, is everybody should know this, is that when in a weightlifting contest, you kind of milk the snatches, but you really win with the clean and jerk. And so this is the lift. This is what it's all about right here. And it's gut-wrenching. It's mental. It's absolutely what, separates the men and the strong women from the boys and girls. I'm telling you, it's just awesome. And look at Sanders. She's a mother. She's gone through that birthing thing, and she's a junkyard dog, I'm telling you right now.
And she is one of the athletes who is still alive. We saw Tia Toomey and Jamie Simmonds before that.
The two to kind of look out for based off what they've done is Turi Helgadottir and Simmonds right on the edge of that 230, 235 is kind of close to their max. But for Turi is that she has an extensive background in Olympic lifting on the competitive landscape. I think a lot of people don't really know that.
Who is that? Who'd you say that, Tia?
Turi Helgadottir.
Turi Helgadottir, we're looking at her right now.
Oh, okay.
She's competed on it nationally for a few years.
Again.
Amanda Barnhart at 235, getting chalked up with less than 30 seconds to go before the next window opens. Round 9.
And then, Coach, if your video stays the next time we see Barnhart, from my view, her split was a little tight, kind of had that straight back leg position sometimes you'll see. Hopefully she can sure that up on this one.
I'm frozen still if you guys in the studio can hear me.
So 7 remain. Here's round 9 at 235. Danielle Brandon fails the clean. Amanda Barnhart is under hers. She hits the jerk easily. Saunders hits it easily. Prevost can't get the jerk. Toomey's good.
Helgadottir misses her clean.
Here's Laura Horvath. She stays alive. Good jerk for her.
She looks good. Horvath looks very good.
So Prevost and Helgadottir did not make that lift, but they can make another run. So Prevost's taking a seat. She's resting up. That is Laura Horvath, the woman who finished 2nd overall at the games in her rookie year in 2018. Here's Carolyn Prevost. Again, just has to start inside the minute window.
I mean, she's already PR'd twice on her way to 235.
Come on. Great form. Go,
Prevost
go,
will
go.
stand that up, so Carolyn Prevost now has to hit the jerk to stay alive here.
Oh!
And just can't quite get under it. But a great effort for Carolyn Prevost.
Coach, what is that, missing by inches out in front a little bit on that jerk?
Yeah, and if I could frame by frame that for you, her dip looked really good, but right at the end, right before her drive, she shifted to the balls of her feet just a little bit, and that threw it outside that straight dip, straight drive path. That's the only reason she missed that lift. Everything was right there. The speed, everything was there. Leg strength's a little off, but nevertheless, right before that was the reason she missed that.
Here's Amanda Barnhart lifting an empty barbell.
Well spoken. Yeah, you're right,
You're
Chase.
on timeout?
Yeah, I don't like that split. She's really upper body dominant right now, with that jerk. So she's going to have to really, as that weight gets heavy, she's going to have to drive and get a little bit more front and back split, I think. In weightlifting, that jerk may have not been passed.
Really?
Because there was a little press out
elbow
there.
bend.
Yeah, you can see it, but she's so strong upper body. That's why she's doing that.
Barnhart and Toomey having a seat. And we did lose some athletes in that last round. One of them being Sarah Sigmund's daughter.
Oh.
Did she miss that because of the clean or the jerk?
Unsure about that right now, but we only have 4 left. It's Tia Toomey, who you're looking at right now, Cara Saunders, Laura Horvath, and Amanda Barnhart. So we're down to 4.
Wow. Well, Sanders, that doesn't surprise me at all. I don't know Horvath that much, so I'm not really sure what she's capable of. But Sanders, man, watch out. That girl's a beast.
Cara Saunders, 4th place overall. She trails Sarah Sigmund's daughter by 10 points, so Cara Saunders can make up that deficit here.
Yeah, this is going to be fun right now. And we're at 240, so we're getting to that nut cutting time here. This is really, really important for all of them.
And that's going to be big for Cara with Sigmund's daughter bowing out, because she was only 10 points behind her for that 3rd place position. Simmonds was second with 310. So depending on what Saunders and Horvath do, they could put themselves up into 2nd and 3rd over Simmonds and Sigmund's daughter.
Round 10, 240. Barnhart has a clean. As a Saunders, Barnhart hits the jerk, no problem. Saunders hits that. Toomey is good. And now Horvath, the last woman to hit the jerk, and she will make that. So all 4 women stay alive, and we will move to 245 pounds.
Gentlemen, we have a contest going on here. This is what it's all about right here. Every one of those lifts were outstanding.
We'll be able to take a look at all of their lifts one by one. We'll start with Tia Toomey.
Look at that speed. Nice receiving the bar. Excellent. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Champion's champion. There she is. Outstanding.
Let's go to the other Australian who is left, and that's Cara Saunders. She's in the upper right-hand part of your screen, and she made her lift as well as she looks to move herself into the top 3.
Oh, yeah. Just a little forward on the dip. Dip was good, but just a little forward on the drive at the end. Right at the very end, right before she drives, she goes forward. So that could come back and hurt her at the heavier weight.
Laura Horvath also made her lift at 245 pounds.
Up. Strong.
Jeez.
Oh, yeah, look at this. That is really, really good. Wow.
And finally, Amanda Barnhart at 240 pounds, as she's looking for maybe a rematch with Tia Toomey from last year at the Games.
Up. Oh, that looks awful good, guys. Yeah, she needs to work on that. She's so strong. She's upper body dominant on the jerk, but that clean really looked good.
And you're looking at her legs just a bit more rigid and kind of getting herself stuck in that position on the jerk.
Yeah. A little bit more cushiony where she can push her body down, She's
bending that back knee.
Yeah, the rigidness is and in CrossFit, the lift is going to be counted, but in weightlifting, that rigidness will come back and hurt her if she's not able to adjust that. But every one of these girls look really good. I am really impressed with Horvath. She really looks good.
It seems like a day ago where we did the tiebreaker, Sean, but you know, we're getting these heavy lists, and it could be a difference of 5 pounds, and everyone misses. And for these 4, in terms of the tiebreaker, it goes Barnhart, Tia, Horvath, Cara. And you know, we talked at Cara doing those quick singles. That might, depending on where she gets in this tiebreaker, might put her in that 4th place position.
Now, these are the final 4. We mentioned Sarah Sigmarsdottir bowing out a couple lifts ago. The reason we didn't show you that is because we had some technical difficulties with her feed, but she did fail the lift. These are your final 4. Toomey, Saunders, Horvath, and Amanda Barnhart. Round 11 now, 245 pounds on the barbell. Barnhart first to lift. She will hit the clean. Saunders does as well. Toomey, is good. Barnhart hits it. Saunders misses the jerk. Toomey is good. So Saunders will have some time to make another attempt. Horvath, this is her first attempt, and she will make that.
My goodness. Watch out, Horvath. God almighty.
Laura Horvath, 5th place overall, 285 points. 2 of the 3 women ahead of her are already out. Now, Cara Saunders has to make another attempt, but Laura Horvath looking to make up some big ground here and maybe get herself, if not into the top 4, possibly into the top 3. Cara Saunders for her 2nd attempt.
Up.
Oh.
Go, go. There's, come on.
And Saunders just doesn't have it. But impressive that she was able to clean that twice in a 1-minute window.
Rarely ever have I seen someone laugh at the top of the receiving position and get the jerk afterwards.
The Saunders is going to lock up 4th place in this event. Here's Tia Toomey, who does stay alive.
Look at that speed through the middle. Look at that clean, man. Oop. Uh-oh, right arm. Timing issue. Starting to get heavy now.
Tia Toomey, Amanda Barnhart, and Laura Horvath are your final 3. As Cara Saunders had 2 successful cleans but was unable to complete the jerk portion of the lift.
Is there any way we can bring up Horvath, guys?
We will see if we can get that for you, Coach. Laura Horvath is in the bottom left of your screen, and here is her lift. Ask and ye shall receive, Coach B.
Thank you. Notice her wide grip. I love this about her, too. Get the elbows around really fast. Great pull. Look, go.
Wow.
Go. Wow. She is efficient. Foot placement looks good. Oh, my gosh. Wow. I'm telling you, she's the one. If she can get out of the hole on the clean, she's looking good.
And here's Barnhart at 245.
Yeah, she's strong. Good leg strength here.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to be careful there. You notice why she does that, guys? If you notice her footwork on that jerk,
that step
her
back.
Feet. No, well, my thing is that when she jerks the weight, her feet are too wide. So consequently, she doesn't get the drive that she needs. So her clean grip, her clean stance, to me looks a little bit different than her jerking stance. So she keeps the feet wider on the jerk, and she just doesn't get the drive against the ground that she does if she would bring the feet in. And that's important because of that upper body, dominance that she has.
And you just saw Cara Saunders bow out, and if you're just joining us, this is the 4th of 6 events here at the 2020 Rogue Invitational. It's a clean and jerk liftoff. We add 5 pounds every lift. We started way back at 195. We're all the way up to 250 right now, and these are your final 3. Tia Toomey, Laura Horvath, and Amanda Barnhart. They have 1 minute to make the lift, and then a 3-minute break between each minute window. 250 pounds. Barnhart on it quickly.
Wow.
The clean is good. The jerk will count.
Jeez.
Toomey makes her lift.
Wow, I felt that looked better.
Here's Horvath for 250, and Horvath sticks that. So we'll go to 255.
Oh God, what? Okay, last year at the games, Toomey and Barnhart were the 2 finalists, and what was the clean 255 at the games last year for this event?
Close.
I think it was 255 or 260.
Then they kept going.
And then they
might have been 260.
Yeah, I think that's where they got.
Horvath, I hope she can get that leg strength going because she really looked good on that jerk.
Here's Toomey,
Toomey looks,
250.
she looks awesome. Good speed. Look at that timing. Look how she comes out of the hole there. Looks really solid. Good dip, good drive. Look at that. I wish Jacob Hepner could be watching her jerk. I love the way that she dips, she drives, and she drives through that plane. I mean, it was really, really solid. And Horvath does the same thing. Both of those athletes, their dip and drive just look spectacular.
Here's Laura Horvath at 250.
Look at that pull off the ground, how solid that is. Now this is where she's going to have the problem right there. Now bring the hips forward. She does, gets up to that sticking point. Watch this jerk. Look at that. That is solid. Real strong.
Coach, have you already adopted Laura Horvath, or have we not gotten to that point yet?
Well, I've tried to adopt Toomey, and her husband wouldn't let me. So I have a house for her and everything, but Horvath, she's a keeper for sure.
Amanda Barnhart, meanwhile, was able to hit both portions of the lift at 250 pounds.
I'm impressed with Barnhart's clean ability. Wow, that speed that she's developing. So for me, her feet are a little bit too wide. Yeah, see, she's just strong. She's a strong girl.
If you think back to the Chaos event in 2018, and the final portion of that was the slug that they had to pull. Now, Amanda Barnhart was she was 8th or 9th to get to that thing, and in the process of pulling that, she passed about 7 athletes and made them look like they were standing still. And that's the first time that Amanda Barnhart really showed off her power to a lot of people. And then, of course, last year at the games going head-to-head with Tia Toomey in that clean event. And Barnhart...
Yeah, I'm impressed with Barnhart. I think, she looks much better in the clean than she did last year for me. And that's because of that ankle you were talking about. But her clean looks really efficient.
Well, Barnhart with 220 pounds, 12th place overall. But she's going to be able to make up some ground here.
Yeah.
Maybe move all the way up to 6th or 7th with what she's accomplishing at this point. Cara Saunders is already locked up 4th place. And that's good for 85 points, I should say. So 3rd place will receive 90, 2nd 95, and then the winner of this event with 100 points.
So the lifts for last year on the women's side, Barnhart 260, Tia 265.
Okay, all right. So we're getting there.
255 pounds, round 13.
Wow, amazing.
Barnhart misses the clean for the first
time.
Now Toomey is underneath it, and she will stand it up. Horvath struggling.
Horvath.
Toomey's
Horvath's
good.
gonna make it.
The jerk for Laura Horvath,
yes.
And she will make
Yes.
steadies herself, and she will make it. So now Barnhart, the only woman not to hit 255, but plenty of time for her to make another attempt.
Tia looks like she's getting stronger.
She is. That's that Olympian experience, I'm telling you.
Man.
That girl knows how to lift.
I thought it interesting for Barnhart is she gets that bar so high on the pull.
Barnhart's got to hit this to stay alive. If she doesn't, she'll take 3rd place, and she'll earn 90 points.
Get up.
There it is.
Much better for Amanda Barnhart.
There it is. Oh.
Oh, come on. She could...
And almost had it, but it's not going to count. So Amanda Barnhart will take third place in the event. She'll score 90 points, and that's big for her as she looks to at least punch her way into the top 10, if not better than that. So she will move up the standings, and now we are down to 2. It's the top 2 women from the 2018 games, Tia Toomey and Laura Horvath out of Hungary. Here's Tia Toomey.
I like what Chase said. I think Tia does get stronger as we go. Look at that speed through the middle, guys. Look at that. Fast elbows, adjustment. Look at her feet placement. Looks great. Dip drive, punch.
Oh.
Wow. Barnhart needs to watch Toomey's jerks. Wow. Or Horvath's, either one. I mean, both of them jerk really well. That was beautiful.
Toomey on the left, Horvath on the right. So the worst either one of these can do is second place, which would be good for 95 points. So Tia Toomey really looking to extend her lead as far as the overall standings are concerned. So here's Laura Horvath's lift.
Good speed through the middle. Wow, I love it. Keep driving. And I love the way she gets through there. Nice and solid.
I know she got a little stuck kind of in the middle of standing the bar up, but there was really no deviation of kind of like body position or knees caving in. So still in full control, I felt like, of that weight.
She was, and she just is she's solid. She's very composed. She knows what she has to do, and she just stays with it all the way through it.
Here's Barnhart's second attempt.
Now that's a much better lift. That's the way she should have lifted it on the first one. Again, that's just a terrible jerk. I mean, for an athlete like that, she's just got to get that head through it, and she's got it, and learn to live and be more cushiony with that back leg. And she's going to be doing a lot more. That clean was awesome, though.
And for that jerk and that technique, is that just drilling footwork with just an empty bar or a PVC pipe?
I think it's marking your feet and then understanding what I call the 5 points of performance. That one of the points of performance is that back leg needs to be slightly bent, which allows for cushioning. She hits and is stuck right there. That's the issue with her jerk. If she gets that squared away, she'll be much, much better, I think.
Round 14, 260 pounds. And remember, Tia Toomey has the tiebreak over Horvath.
Oh.
So Horvath makes the clean, Toomey hits the clean. Toomey is good.
Oh.
And we will go to 265.
Oh, my God. I love Horvath. My God. Of course, I've always loved Toomey, but Horvath, you see the way she stays with that clean, right through that sticking point, doesn't get panicked, just continues to push up on the bar. That was amazing.
Now, 260, again, if these are updated based off what the athletes give us, T has already surpassed what maybe her 1-rep max was listed at the 260, and Laura just matched it. And so this 265, it might be uncharted waters for both the athletes.
Yeah. Well, I think, according to what I've seen, I think Toomey's got it easily. Her athleticism, that speed through the middle, look how she pulls herself under the bar a little bit. That valgus move might come back and bite her in the rear end later, but right now looks good. The jerk is solid. The drive is solid. Recovery solid. Everything looks really good there. 5 more pounds? I don't know. 5 pounds does a lot to people. So Horvath is really looking solid, I think.
We go to 265, and Laura Horvath may find herself at least in the top 3 right now.
Wow.
She came in 5th place overall, but Saunders and Sigmundsdottir and Simmonds were all ahead of her in the overall standings. They are all out.
I love her speed through the middle here. Look how she rides the bar down to catch the bounce. She drives right through that sticky point. Now watch her left arm. A little soft there. She tightens it up though, so a little bit quicker on the arm drive, fast hands, but she punched right out of it. She's a strong young lady.
I like the celebration in the background. That's awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
So still 90 seconds to go before the next lifting window opens. As these two women stood next to each other on the podium in 2018 when Laura Horvath in her rookie year at the games came out of nowhere and finished second overall. And at one point was the overall leader in that competition.
She's had a tough 2 years since that. Kind of getting back into form. I know she's nursing an injury for a while there with her back. And it's one of those athletes you've waiting to kind of see get back to form because of that. I mean, what she did at the games that year as a rookie was unbelievable.
Out of all the athletes that are, well, left, but I mean, in this group, she really looks like a weightlifter as well. Her and Sanders are built structurally just like Olympic weightlifters. I like her demeanor too. I like the way she focuses in. It doesn't panic about anything, doesn't rush through anything. She's just a solid all through her movement patterns.
Laura Horvath first made her appearance at the regionals in the Meridian Regional back when she was 19 years old. She didn't make the games that year, but she did finish in the top 10. And if you remember, that was a stacked field. And it was pretty clear after that performance that she was going to be on this sort of stage at one point. Sooner probably rather than later. Round 15, 265. This is the weight that won this event at the games for Tia Toomey.
Oh.
So Toomey is going to hit it.
Wow.
Yeah,
and she's going to make it. So Tia Toomey
Whoa.
looking at another event win as Laura Horvath does not look like she's going to make another attempt. So Tia Toomey will take event 4. She will add 100 points to her total. Laura Horvath may find herself in the top 3 after this event as she will lock up 95 points. So Tia Toomey once again at 265 pounds. That's the weight that wins her the event.
That looked easy too, didn't it?
Yes.
I mean, she's good. I mean, she's really good for a lot more weight, I think. But obviously, she doesn't need it. So
We don't know if she's going to keep going or not, but it looks like she is getting the word that she has won the event. But if Tia's going to keep lifting, we're going to keep watching her do it.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I could stay here all day watching this. She's going to do it.
So Toomey's going to add another 5 pounds. She's going to go up to 270. She has already won the event. She's locked up 100 points, so she will have 435 points with 2 events to go.
Does she not know she's won? Is there any way they could tell her or not?
I don't know.
Okay.
This is one of the things that we've talked about throughout the weekend. When you're not next to any of your opponents,
Right, yeah,
when
they
you're
don't
lifted
know.
by yourself, you have no idea where you stand. Tia Toomey's looking at her judge, who is off screen. Now her judge looks like he's given her the word. We'll see if Tia Toomey even wants to make another attempt. At this point, it's just showing off. I mean, she's already won.
Yeah.
We still have 2 events remaining.
I think this might be her 3rd win of the weekend after 4 events. 5 scored events.
What'd she say?
I couldn't quite tell what she said. But it looks like she does have her bar loaded at 270. And now I think she's asking for clarification as to whether or not she has to lift again. She's going to the bucket and she cinched up the belt, so.
She's lifting it. Come on, she's needing to mentally get strong here. Come on.
The 10 seconds before the next window opens, Tia Toomey has already won the event, courtesy of her lift at 265 pounds, so now 270 pounds on the barbell.
Up,
Oh,
go.
wow.
Wow. Whoa.
Okay.
Look at
All right,
that.
let's just go home now.
Okay.
Let's just go home.
Whoa.
It's a.
Yeah.
So that's a message to everybody who might be watching.
And your 2020 Rogue Invitational
That was
champion.
unbelievable. So we
Now
are now,
you know
someone
what
is going to get the
fire
hook and just tell Tia that she
Oh
can't
my
lift anymore because
gosh.
people are starting to get scared at home.
Absolutely.
270 for Tia Toomey after already winning the event.
That is a fire breather right there.
Wow.
And it
100
was easy.
points, and
I felt like that was directed at me, and I slunk underneath the table a little bit.
yeah,
It's like, listen, I said
was
you had
with
already
you,
won,
Jim.
okay? Don't look at me. I didn't make you lift that.
I'm with you, Chris. I'm underneath the table.
wow. Seek shelter immediately.
Oh my God! What an event, guys! That was unbelievable. Seriously, I mean, I just fell in love with Horvath, so that's a good one. I know Barnhart. She's awesome. Saunders. Oh my goodness, crazy.
So let's go back and take a look now at the last 4 lifts
I thought that was her best clean.
for Tia Toomey. So this is 255 pounds.
Yeah. No doubt. Look at that. Beautiful.
And now 260.
Jerk was a little soft on that one, but not bad. I mean, I'll
And now
count it.
265. This is the lift that won her the event.
Look at that. Catch the bounce out of the hole. That was even a look at that jerk.
Yeah.
That was magnificent.
And now finally, the cherry on top, 270.
Look at
Yeah.
this. Look at that. Jerk is even better. Now she's yelling at you, Chase.
Wow.
Wow.
Tia Toomey, 270 pounds in a lift she didn't even need to do. She wins the event. It's her 3rd event win here. And she has a 3rd or 4th. I've already lost track. She has another event win. Regardless, she's going to have 445 points as she heads into event number 5. That's unofficial, but 2 events remaining, and Tia Toomey is going to be very difficult to catch now on top of the overall leaderboard. But we just talked about her, but I want to go back to Laura Horvath. She needed to have a good event in order to keep herself in contention for a spot on the podium, and she was impressive.
I like what she did, especially coming in, knowing that this is an event that she needed to have prior to going into event 5. We have that long chipper coming up, but those 40 strict handstand push-ups, until she shores up that hole, we're going to have to keep bringing it up that is going to be an issue for her going to this. So she did exactly what she needed to do in this event to kind of put herself in that contention spot going into event 5.
Coach, I know Amanda Barnhart stood out to you, but how far away is she from becoming really an elite weightlifter?
Oh, not far at all. But, her leg strength is obviously very good. Her jerk is the thing that I would be working with her on more than anything else. And if you go back and remember what I said at the very beginning of this thing, that we were looking at the people that were going to go high up in this competition, and it was all because of leg strength. The ones that bowed out early, the leg strength is very poor, in my opinion. They receive the clean much lower than they do their front squats. So I would encourage all those people that bowed out early, go back and do your front squats, but do them very, very low where you're going to receive the clean. And that's basically what happened to Horvath. I mean, she's a champion. Horvath is unbelievable, but her leg strength, in order to take that farther leap, needs to get up there. And you look at Toomey stayed down there in the hole, bounced a couple times, and got out of the hole easily. Her leg strength wasn't even challenged today at all. And she wins the competition with the beautiful jerk as well.
Coach B, we really appreciate you taking the time to do this. It is always a pleasure to have you along and watch some weightlifting with you. It definitely gets us fired up, and I hope the people at home enjoyed it as well. So have a great rest of your Sunday, and we hope to see you soon, my friend.
Thank you very much, guys. I enjoyed it.
I'll receive you later, Coach.
We saw the men's competition earlier as they went through the clean and jerk liftoff, and it was Chandler Smith who won that event. He picks up 100 points in the process, and he needed those 100 points as he looks to work his way into the top 3. And earlier today, Chandler, after event 4, spoke with Margot Alvarez.
Congratulations again, Chandler. You hit 360 and you won that tiebreak time. What was your plan on that first part on those 7 clean and jerks?
I definitely, again, like yesterday, I wanted to come out unbroken. I feel like I recover relatively quickly, and to try and turn a strength event into something that benefits my endurance skills. I knew that if I could come out fast, I could probably recover than other folks, and they wouldn't be that adventurous to try it. So I wanted to come out fast and hope that the tiebreak would help me out later on.
That's solid. You had a great day 1. How does your body feel today?
Miserable, horrible. Any word you could use to describe a bad feeling is how my body feels. But I think everyone's in the same boat, so it's just kind of the nature of competition.
What is your mindset going into the next event? How does that fare for you?
This one is maybe not my favorite one, but I know that if my training's been really, really good. So if I come in and execute, I'll have a score that I can be proud of, even if it's not one that does as comparatively well as maybe this event. So that's all I'm shooting for.
Well, thank you for your service. Congratulations on that event. We look forward to watching you in the next 2 events.
Thanks, Margot. Beat Navy.
Yeah, take care.
Captain Chandler Smith on the birthday of the U.S. Army winning the event and putting himself in contention for a spot on the podium. So let's take a look at the men's results for event 4 as we have just 2 events remaining here at the 2020 Rogue Invitational. Chandler Smith with that lift at 360 tied Lucas Hogberg as Hogberg hit that as well. They both failed on the next lift, but Chandler Smith does have the tie-break time courtesy of those 7 clean and jerks at 2:55, so he wins the event. Pat Vellner continues his hot streak, and he will stay atop the overall leaderboard with his 3rd place finish. Noah Olsen and Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson with a tie. And again, it was Noah Olsen with the tie-break time, so he will finish ahead of BKG on that event. Meanwhile, over on the women's side, it was Tia Toomey who hit 270 pounds when she didn't even need to win the event. I think we have the updated standings and results, or the updated results, I should say, for the women's event. So Tia Toomey with the win picks up another 100 points. Laura Horvath, very impressive. She'll earn 95. Amanda Barnhart will move up the leaderboard as well, courtesy of her performance. She gets 90 points. And then Cara Saunders finishes in 4th. And Jamie Simmonds and Sarah Sigmundsdottir tying for 5th, along with Carolyn Prevost and Turi Helgadottir. But again, the tie-break times from the first part of that event, separating those 4, I should say, and then Jamie Simmonds will be the one who finishes the highest out of them. So the women are done. The men are done. Chase, I mean, anytime we watch these athletes in this setting lift these huge weights, I mean, I shouldn't, but every time I come away from the event, I'm just extremely impressed.
I'm impressed and also depressed at the same time for myself, just how incredibly strong all of these athletes are, but for both the men and the women. I think these events are important, but they're also very fun to watch, and have someone like Coach Bergner come in and just give us a lesson in terms of everything weightlifting. It was a real treat across the board.
Coach B is a rare treat, and we certainly enjoyed having him along for this. We're going to take a break, catch our breath, and just think about what we just saw. When we come back, things are going to get a lot different as we move from heavyweight to the chipper. So event 5 coming up here in a little bit. Stay with us on the 2020 Rogue Invitational. The 2020 Rogue Invitational is brought to you by Ramwad. Optimize your range of motion when you start your 7-day free trial at ramwad.com. The United States Army. What's your warrior? Find out at goarmy.com. Concept 2. your solid training partner at home or in the gym. And Rogue, don't weaken.